One. Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rutan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. A little cold outside, you know, they're talking about snow here pretty soon. That's not what this video is about. This video is about Malbec. I am going to entitle this From Hot to Not. Once a rock star, not so much a rock star. I can tell you that I used to stack layer cake Malbec, and you might remember this, on the floor. 4 cases lasted about a week. That's how quickly it went, and it wasn't always easy to get. Malbec used to be scorching hot in the market. It's not so much anymore, and there's a lot of debate about why that would be. I guess I looked it up. I think Malbec sales are down about 17.5%, and of course they attributed that to the downfall in wine consumption in general, which is an episode I want to do all by itself. I have a lot of opinions about that, why that's happening, and you can agree or disagree with me. It doesn't matter. It's my opinion. I have thick skin. If you don't agree, I want to hear it in the comments. Maybe you can give me some ideas before I shoot that episode as to why wine sales are dropping a bit in the US. But let's talk about Malbec. Malbec has shined in Argentina, in particular Mendoza, Argentina, higher elevation vineyards. It originated, really not originated, but they in France, in Bordeaux. It is one of the 6 grapes of Bordeaux: Cab Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Cab Merlot, Cab Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Carmenere. 6 grapes of Bordeaux. Of course, they're introducing some new ones because of climate change, but we won't go into that in detail. So the French brought it over to Argentina. Argentina started planting it. It does really well in Argentina, and we have an explosion of Malbec on the market. Why is it declining now? Why is Malbec starting to fall off the charts? I think it's because they overproduce. Just like with Merlot, in the 90s, Merlot was hot. And then starting in 2000, the market was flooded with insipid Merlots because all the wineries are getting on on board to produce Merlot and sell it to people that were excited about it. And then of course Sideways came out, kind of on Merlot, not on purpose. It was kind of ironic in the end, but it really did hurt Merlot sales. They're starting to pick up a little bit, which I'm excited about. I think Malbec suffers the same thing. Got hot. A lot of producers made Malbec that was kind of what I call vanilla ice cream Malbecs. Not so great. People got tired of them. Malbec is a great wine, and Argentina is famous for their steaks, their meat, and so Malbec is an obvious choice to have with beef dishes. But we're going to go through 4 of these, and we're going to see how they show. This is the Bodega Bianchi Elsa Malbec from Mendoza, Argentina. This rolls in at $15. So we're going to go run the gamut in pricing, and then I brought out an older one from my cellar just to see how it's developing. So let's give this one a try, see what it's like. $15, great price point, especially for those youngsters that are trying to get into wine, those 20-somethings that are getting into wine. I'm sorry I'm calling you youngsters, but I'm dating myself just a little bit. But anyway, people trying to get into wine, $15 price point is a great price point. Very dark in color. You can barely see through it. Let's see what we get on the nose. Lots of plum and boysenberry. That's what I love about Malbec. A little tobacco coming through. Yeah, pretty intense on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. This baby is savory. I think it's a little one-dimensional. You got this tarry kind of boysenberry thing going on. Kind of a minerality aspect coming through on the palate. But overall, in my personal opinion, as my palate, although I do try to stretch my palate out to what people will like, I think it's a little one-dimensional. Certainly not vanilla ice cream, but it is not much going on with this wine. As much as I get excited about tobacco notes, this has those tobacco notes, but there's not much else going on. Kind of an earthy, tarry, boysenberry tobacco thing going on, but kind of flat on the palate, not much going on, not a lot of complexity. This is, I would call this vanilla ice cream Malbec except for that kind of tobacco element. But once again, if I were to spend $15 on this, this would go well with a hamburger, stew, things like that. But overall, I think for $15, to me, it's a pass. It doesn't show enough characteristics and complexity. It's balanced in a easy sort of way, or a non-complex sort of way. Yeah, no. I mean, there's some good things about it that I like, but overall it's just very simple. I'm going to go C, just an average Malbec, and I think this is a reason why some people have kind of backed away from Malbec, although we do sell a fair amount of the Elsa Malbec from Bianchi. I think it's an average Malbec, not flawed, but not interesting. Let's move on. What was the vintage on that? Did I even say that? 2023. 23, a little Michael Jordan action. Now we'll go to the 2021 Zuccardi Q Malbec, Valdioco Uco Mendoza, Argentina. This rolls in at $22. Hoping for a little bit better. C's, my stepdad said C students are, they're the bomb. A students, not so much. Maybe because I was close to an A student, I don't know. We always didn't see eye to eye, my stepdad and I. This got 91 points, Wine Spectator, like I care about points. Really dark there, a little on the purplish side, dark purple. And yeah, some red tones to it. Let's see what we get on the nose. A bit of stink action, a little bit of hair perm. I'm getting some plum, black plum, blackberry notes. I get a little bit of pepper coming through on the nose as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. Definitely a little more interesting. Has some different layers to it. I do get it a little tobacco. I get that dark plum, boysenberry, blackberry notes coming through. Good acidity, nicely balanced and integrated, meaning that it doesn't pucker up your mouth, but it is blended in nicely with the fruit. A little bit of leather action as well. The tannins are a little bit chewy on the finish, which makes sense. If you're going to have this with a big Argentinian steak, you need the tannins. This has those tannins kind of grippy on the backside. Good complexity. Not super interesting, just saying, but much better than the first one. Of course, it's $7 more. I don't like it when always the more expensive one shows better, but this one is showing better. This is a good Malbec. A little black pepper on the back side of this one. Good balance. I'm even getting a little funk on this one, which I like in a good way. There's a good funk on this one. I'm going to go straight up B. I think that's a solid Malbec for $22. Let's move on to the 2021 Pascual Toso Reserva Malbec Barrancas Vineyards from Argentina. This rolls in at $28. So we're getting up there a little bit, closer to the $30 mark. And I think, when you have let's just, as an example, you have a $12 to $15 Malbec, and, I think the 20-something, 30-something might be attracted to that because of the price point, and then they get that. And I think that is kind of that's a detrimental thing for the wine world, because they assume that all Malbecs are that way because they're certainly not going to jump up to the $22 level just to find out if there's a better Malbec. I believe that. And so you want to get one that you can introduce them to Malbec and it's really going to show that Malbec, and then they're more tempted to go up a little bit, just saying. So color on this, they're all pretty close to the same. It's very dark in the purplish reddish tones. Let's see what we get on the nose. Am I even showing these guys? There's your Pasquat. There's your Zuccardi. There's your Elsa. Sometimes I wonder, I forget. See, my mind's going so fast I forget if I showed it up there. Let's see what we get on the nose. Well, this has some licorice notes combined with blackberry, boysenberry. A little worn leather coming through. Even some chocolate tones. And kind of that black plum. Let's see what we get on the palate. Solid Malbec. Not $6 better than the Zuccardi Q, which is interesting, but it does have that kind of worn leather, black plum, boysenberry notes. A nicely integrated acidity gives it a freshness in the mouth. Approachable tannins, but they get serious on the finish just like the other one. This has some umami characteristics as well. So that meat marinade thing going on. Again, solid Malbec, $28. Now you're getting into rarefied territory with Malbec, although there are some Malbecs out there for much more than that. But I think this is a solid Malbec. I'm going to go B on that one as well. I think it pretty close to the Zuccardi Q, maybe just a skosh better, but not much, not enough to go to B+. I'm going to go straight up B on that. Now what I did was I pulled a 2017 Domaine Bosquet Grand Malbec from Valdiuco, Mendoza, Argentina. And this rolls in at $19. So this has been hanging around my place for a while. Domaine Bosquet, you probably will not be able to get your hands on a 17. But the reason I'm doing this is to see the age worthiness of Malbec, because I do think some Malbecs will age nicely. And $19, good price point, in my opinion. In my opinion. Again, quite dark. And there's just a hue, just a small hue of where you can see it's got a little bit of age on it, but not a lot. It's pretty clear, dark, reddish purple. Let's see what we get on the nose. Now, the cool thing about what I do on this program and at work and everything is I came from a fairly poor family. So I know the value of getting things, working hard for what you get. And I'm certainly not afraid to spend a little extra money on a bottle of wine. But I remember going through my 20s, early 30s, raising a family, and spending a lot of money on a bottle of wine was unheard of. So I really started seeking out good value wines, and I continue to do that even now. And I understand what young people are going through trying to find wine and experimenting. It can be costly. So hopefully these programs are helping you to find those good wines without spending a bunch of money. So we get on those. Little veggie action with the boysenberry, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of tar, kind of a little bit of a charred wood, like from an old campfire. You knocked it out and you smell that wood later. That's what I'm getting there. A little bit of a meaty element coming through as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. But a lot smoother. Still has grittiness on the backside with the tannins. Nice rounder plum notes, blackberry notes. Good acidity, all nicely integrated. This is developing nicely. I hope I have another bottle in my cellar. I'll check it out because this is really nice. Now this, for $19, I think this would get a lot of people hooked on Malbec once again. I like the nice little hit of kind of ripe fruit, but not overripe, just nicely balanced ripe fruit on the mid-palate, kind of blackberry, boysenberry, black plum thing coming through on the mid-palate. And then it has a nice little crunchy acidity on the back side of this one. That warm leather notes come through a little bit, just, you know, like that soft, warm leather. Tannins get a little grip on the backside. Excellent Malbec, Domaine Bosquet, 2017 Grand Malbec. $19, good value. I'm going to go B plus, A minus on that one because it is really showing nicely. And anybody who tries a Malbec like this is going to say, hey, why do people giving up on Malbec? Why don't I go back to Malbec? I still sell some Malbec at the store, but not like I used to. And it's kind of sad. But again, I think it's because the market was flooded with a bunch of inexpensive Malbec because people were trying to take advantage of the hot category and dumbed it down just a little bit. There you have it. Malbec from hot to not. And I understand the reason why. But don't give up on Malbec. It's a very good wine for beef dishes. If you find the right one, you can find good values. 20, 22, 28, not terrible. 28's getting up there even for me, but you can find some good ones. So hopefully you have a wine person in your area that can lead you to great Malbec, and you can reintroduce yourself to this fantastic varietal that used to be planted quite a bit in Bordeaux. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. If you have any comments about this or why you think wine sales are falling off, give me your opinion because that will help me in my next episode. Well, not my next episode, episode coming up. I have something planned for my next one already. You keep watching and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.